Viewer guidance is strongly advised. The following content is intended purely for informational and entertainment purposes. The courtroom fell silent the moment Homeland Security agent Marcus Daniels walked in. Armed guards flanked him. The gallery, once buzzing with whispers, went still. Everyone in the room could feel it. Something massive was about to be revealed. And it didn't take long before the shockwaves hit. This wasn't just another witness. Daniels wasn't here to speculate. He had come with video evidence, classified footage so disturbing, so psychologically damaging that the judge ordered all devices removed and the courtroom partially cleared. The reason? A video showing alleged ritual practices involving none other than Sean Diddy Combs. According to Agent Daniels, the footage was found during a Homeland Security raid on an offshore data center in the Cayman Islands. Hidden behind layers of encryption, the video showed a ceremony at a private compound in Morocco. In the clip, Diddy isn't just a participant, he's the orchestrator, the man directing the flow of what analysts later described as psychological conditioning. When Daniels first described the contents, Diddy broke down. He stood up in court, voice shaking, pleading not to let the video be shown. His exact words, "You can't show that, please, that wasn't meant to be recorded." Security had to restrain him, and the judge ordered a private review of the footage in chambers. The video reportedly shows 12 individuals in ceremonial white robes arranged in a circle. The setting includes symbols drawn from various esoteric traditions, but analysts say it doesn't match any known religion. As the footage progresses, 3 individuals, described as disoriented and confused, are brought into the circle. They had allegedly been administered substances beforehand, which likely contributed to their mental state. Diddy is seen leading the event, instructing participants to surrender themselves, to open up to the current, and to prepare for ascension. According to Daniels, what follows is a structured breakdown of psychological barriers. There's controlled breathing, sensory deprivation, and hours of repeated messaging designed to implant new belief systems. But it's not just spiritual in appearance. After this so-called elevation process, the participants, now fully compliant, are filmed signing contracts. Those contracts reportedly give Diddy's companies near total control of their image, music, and financial future. And this wasn't a one-time event. Homeland Security recovered 23 separate recordings of similar gatherings. All followed the same pattern: private flights to remote properties, security protocols that rival those of state-level operations, rotating guests lists of aspiring artists, mostly young and vulnerable, and Diddy, always at the center. Daniels explained that these practices dated back as far as 2017. He even introduced a government exhibit showing a timeline of flights, messages, and surveillance logs. In almost every instance, Diddy was present, and in many, the same pattern repeated. Individuals who participated in the ceremonies would soon sign contracts with highly exploitative terms. Then came the live testimony from someone who lived through it. Alicia Morris, a former singer signed to one of Diddy's labels, took the stand. Her hands shook as she described how a music showcase led to an invite. She was flown to what she thought was a creative retreat. At first, it was everything she dreamed of. Then, on the third day, everything changed. She was told she had been selected for elevation. Fasting began, water was restricted, breathing exercises went on for hours. Then came the ceremony. Alicia recalled seeing strange symbols, being exposed to flashing lights and vibrations, and eventually losing track of time. By the end of it, she signed a contract without truly understanding what was happening. For the next 18 months, she said she lived under constant control. Her housing, her communications, even her schedule were monitored. Every time she tried to assert independence, she was reminded of the elevation, of her oath to the family. She described the sessions as psychological warfare. It took a family emergency to get her out, and even then, it was months before she could begin processing what had happened. Her contract was eventually voided due to her mental condition at the time of signing, but the psychological damage still lingers. Diddy remained silent for most of her testimony, but as she stepped down, he couldn't hold it in anymore. He stood up in court and shouted at her, claiming she had begged to be part of the elevation and that everyone did. His outburst caused immediate chaos, and the judge had to call for order again. But the most damning testimony came next. Dr. Malcolm Rivera, a former wellness consultant who had worked directly with Diddy, revealed that he had helped create the ceremonies. According to Rivera, Diddy was obsessed with methods that could break down boundaries and create loyalty. What began as mindfulness training evolved into full-blown psychological manipulation. Rivera explained how participants were intentionally pushed past emotional and cognitive thresholds, made vulnerable through sensory deprivation, and then locked into contracts while in altered states. Worse still, the ceremonies were secretly recorded. Rivera called them forever leverage, footage Diddy kept to ensure no one could ever speak out. Then came the confession no one saw coming. Diddy once again lost control in court. This time, he didn't plead. He justified. He claimed the rituals created stars, and that every major artist went through something similar, that this was how the industry worked. His attorney tried to silence him, but the damage was irreversible. In front of the entire courtroom, he admitted that the practices were real, intentional, and necessary for power, success, and control. With that, the prosecution closed this portion of their case. The evidence was overwhelming: technical proof, expert analysis, emotional survivor testimony, and a near confession from Diddy himself. What started as rumors had become an undeniable portrait of long-term, systematic exploitation. But this case doesn't end with Diddy. Homeland Security has already begun investigating other figures in the entertainment industry. At least 7 high-profile individuals are under scrutiny. What was once considered conspiracy is now being treated as coordinated psychological abuse on a national scale. Mental health professionals are reporting a surge in former artists seeking help for similar experiences. Labels are reviewing contracts. Advocacy groups are forming. A wave of reckoning is moving through the industry. And it all started with one video Diddy never wanted anyone to see. The question now isn't whether he'll face justice, it's how deep this network goes and how many others used the same system to rise to the top. Stay tuned. The truth is only beginning to surface.